Hi, Instagram, and hi, Facebook. Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited. Happy Sunday, everyone. I am so excited to be going live right now today because I'm talking about one of my favorite topics on planet Earth, which is time blocking. Woohoo! Okay. So last week I did a video all about, called Let's Talk About Stress, Baby. Let's talk about you and me. And it was all about the ways in which we deal with stress and different ways to deal with them. And another thing, one of the things that I talked about, the things that we get told about all the time, right? Meditation and taking care of ourselves and eating and exercising, those are all really, really important. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is how we manage our time, because that is critical. So, if you aren't sure, by the way, who I am Ayana, your transformation health coach, and I help people who are feeling stuck with their health goals and their weight goals really transform the way that they look at food, transform the way that they look at exercise so it can be a joyful experience, and transform the way that they look at their bodies and themselves, because that's the most important thing. And when you work on all of those things, it together at the same time, instead of just focusing on what you're eating and trying to force yourself to do exercise, it's way easier for you to hit your goals. And that's how I lost 50 pounds. And so I'm extremely, extremely passionate about sharing that message with other people. And especially, when it comes to, um, figuring out, one of the things that I help my clients do actually is I help my clients figure out from day one, from the very first session, we spend time figuring out, what are the things that can get in the way? What are the obstacles that can get in the way of your goals and what you can actually do about them? Okay. So we actually go through all of the different things, and time management is a really, really, really big one. So whether you have a health goal or just life goals or just don't want to feel so overwhelmed all the time with everything going on, blocking your time is very, very, very beautiful and will be very helpful. Okay, so I'm going to even show you a little bit of my planner. You'll see a little sneak peek of how I plan my day out. But before we jump into that, I just want to acknowledge right now that right now we're in a crazy time right now. We're in this pandemic and everything, we're in this pandemic with all of these political things going on around us. It's enough to drive anyone nuts. Okay, and I've had several, times myself where I was like, is that all there is? Like how am I going to get through this? And so one of the things that can really help you, I talk about this time and time again. You are no good to yourself, the causes that you care about, or the world if you are not okay. If your mental health is in jeopardy, or if you are struggling, with your mental health. And we all go through ups and downs, and so we just guidance and help and support can help us go stay in it for the long haul. Okay? So Instagram, stay with me, and Facebook, stay with me. We're going to dive into this. I'm so very excited. So the first thing, just before we jump into what time blocking is and all of that, I just want to offer you again, as usual, that I'm here for you. This is again a crazy time, but luckily it is a perfect time for us to fight for our mental health and fight for our physical health. And and so if you know that you're struggling with that and you need some support, definitely, definitely reach out to me. Like this video, comment, or message me, and I would love to set up a free breakthrough session with you where we'll go over what your dream is. Maybe you feel a little disconnected from your dream right now. Maybe you don't feel like it can be a reality or that you deserve it right now, but you always deserve your dream, and especially in crazy times. And also what it is that might be getting in the way of you getting there. Okay. So we'll figure out that one thing that is really stopping you from moving forward and making the progress that you deserve to make. Okay, and a plan for what you can do about it. All right. So health coaching is what helped me lose 50 pounds again without drama and craziness. And I'd love, love, love to offer you a similar gift. All right. So with that in mind, oh, and the other thing I just want to mention too is, and if you're not sure about coaching, definitely message me anyway, because I got so many different ways to support. Online course, and the link is in the description if you're on Facebook. On Instagram, it's in my bio. You can find the link there. Hi, Instagram. Facebook. My winking game is not on par right now, but that's all right. And then also too, you can, also a 30-day to healthy living, 14-day clean eating program. Just so much available. All right. So message me because we can find what you need at your price range. Hi, thanks for watching on Instagram. And thank you for watching on Facebook, everyone. So as I mentioned, last week's video was all about stress, okay? And we talked about how damaging stress can be, right? Stress is extremely overwhelming, right? It's very, when we feel, stress is a part of life, let me just say that. But chronic stress can be really too much. It can feel overwhelming. It can make us, it can really start to affect the quality of our lives, both physically, I talked about that before, and also especially with our mental health. And it actually, if you are one of those people who feels like, man, why is it that I just can't stay in an exercise routine or with healthy eating? It could be because you feel stressed, or overwhelmed, because that saps our motivation. It makes us not want to try to do anything. And it can have us feeling like the emotional pull of our days can feel exhausting. Okay. So it's not that you're lazy. It could just be that you're stressed out or feeling overwhelmed. And so, last week, if you missed the video from last week and you want to go check that out for tips to deal with that stress specifically, definitely go check that out. What we're going to be talking about here is how to deal with organizing your time as one critical way of dealing with that stress. Okay. And as I even said last time, if you have even chronic low levels of stress, that can sabotage your weight loss because it affects your digestion. It affects your body's ability to function properly in your metabolism. Okay. So you definitely want to work through it. Okay. So let's talk more about time blocking and what that is. Okay. And the first thing, before you start anything, you have to recognize that you deserve to try something different. It's very easy for us to get kind of stuck into a rut or used to a routine. And time blocking is asking you to think a little differently. And it might take a little bit of effort in the beginning, but I promise you, if you try it consistently, the payout is way, way, way worth it. And I was able to lose 50 pounds and have a much higher quality of life. Like my happiness levels are way higher than they could be and where they used to be when I was dealing with depression and anxiety. And the all of the ways that I dealt with my stress from like therapy and coaching and and self-care on a daily basis, mandatory self-care, taking care of my body and what my food, all of that was really instrumental. But a lot of times we can say that's all well and good, but where do I find time? I have no time, right? How many of us have said that? So, time blocking can be a critical answer to that question so you can actually take the steps that you want to take. Okay. So, here is, when we talk about time blocking, what that essentially means is you breaking your day down into smaller sections. Okay. And actually, I got inspired from this YouTube influencer. Her name's Jordan Page, and she has this site called Fun, Cheap, or Free. She's great. She and her husband have 8 kids. God bless them. Not for me, but fantastic for her. And so she has a lot of things in there about managing your sanity, your finances, and your time when you have a lot going on. When you're trying to work and balance family and other demands. So, any advice from a working mom with 8 kids? I'll take it. So I put a link for her video in the Facebook description, or in like I did a video about time blocking before. So if you want to check out that one, and I have a video to her page also in that description on YouTube. So go check that out. And if you're on Instagram, you can search for her. She's phenomenal. And part of the way that she described this was all about thinking of your day as far as blocks. That if we break down our day as far as blocks, certain blocks of the day that have different themes, okay? And during those themes, we only focus on one thing at a time, okay? Now, this might not seem like a big deal, but so many of us are used to or have been told that we need to multitask, right? Like, raise your hand if you were a multitasker or are a multitasker or have tried that. Guess what? We now know that that is ineffective, that multitasking doesn't really work, that the brain does not really work that way. And it actually makes you, sometimes we feel like, sometimes when we're on an adrenaline kick, we can get ourselves to do that, but it's not a long-term solution. It really isn't. And it can actually slow you down. So one of the things that she talks about is, back when we were in high school or, or in school, you had certain subjects at certain times of the day. My kids, when they go to school now, it's math class, it's English class, it's well, she's first grade, so it's like writing and spelling and reading. But the point is that every, like from this time to this time, she's only focused on these things at the math block. So she's not doing anything that is, she's not thinking about spelling during math. And same thing with us when we were in class. And when the bell rings, we transition to something else, whether it's a little bit of free time, lunch, or whatever, right? And the idea is while you're in math, unless you just didn't do your homework, right? Which is entirely possible. But while you're in math, in theory, you're only focusing on math. And the reason why that schedule works is that, the benefits are that it allows you to kind of think about your most important priorities, beforehand and focus on one thing at a time so you have peace of mind. So with me, with the schedule now in copying that schoolhouse schedule idea, I now have my day blocked off into the things that are most important to me. And I'm going to share those with you in just a moment. But what that's allowed me to do is it's allowed me to think through and really say to myself, okay, what are the most important things to me on my plate? Okay, because I don't have time for everything. Sometimes people ask me, well, how do you get it all done? I don't. I don't. And I had to learn the hard way. I'm a person who I always have too much on my to-do list. And I've learned from trial and error how to pare it down. I've always been someone who always wanted to take on too much because I care so deeply about so many different things. I love community organizing and being a part of what's happening in the world and my kids and being a part of their distance learning and my business and my teaching job and and my husband and my family and before my mom passed, her needs when I was her caregiver. It's a lot. And we can't really do it all. And so one of the things that I invite you to do is to really experiment, try and think about what your top priorities are, what the things are that really need the most attention from you right now, and how you can fit them into your day. And the other thing that I wasn't doing for myself, I was not putting self-care in there as a priority, as so many of us don't. We tend to think of self-care as something to do at the end of the list. But now I start my day with self care and it's incredible. It changes the entire way that I show up throughout the day. It changes how I show up, as a parent, as a spouse, as a partner, as a business owner, as a coach, as a teacher, just as somebody who cares about our community, everything. Okay. It just changes it. So the idea is that, and I'm going to show you in 1 second how I do this on my planner. Okay. Unfortunately, Facebook and Instagram, I can't share my screen, but I can try my best to hover my planner over these cameras so you can have a sense of what it is that I'm talking about. But again, when you think about the blessing of this, because for me for so long, I felt pressure, like I have to do it all. And the thing now is that once I identified what are the most important things to me in this life moment, right? They can change in a couple of months, they can change in a couple of weeks, right? But right now in this life moment, these are the four most important things to me, teaching, my business, my kids, my husband, not in that order, I apologize. Budgeting and our finances, those are the most important things to me right now in this moment, right? I know that I don't have time to show up with time. Like I care very deeply about the community causes that are going on. And because I know that I don't have the time in my schedule to be there the way that I used to or the way that I really want to, but I know I can donate or I can do something else, right? So it allows me to really think through what are the things that are actually the things that have to get done that are the most important for my sanity right now, and then everything else I can kind of figure out along the way, right? I can figure out ways to get help or support for those other things that I can't do right now or donate, right? So it that's a really beautiful thing is that gift of clarity, that gift of not feeling like I'm not doing enough, right? I get to consciously think through all of these issues beforehand, and I feel better for doing that. Hi, thanks for joining on Instagram. And then again, it gives you that peace of mind. So with time blocking, because I think through how I'd like to spend my day beforehand, then I don't feel like I'm forgetting anything throughout the day. I don't have that anxiety after I do one thing like, oh, should I be doing the kids' homework? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Because I've already thought it through beforehand and it's amazing. Okay. I don't feel like I'm dropping the ball in those areas of life that are most important to me. And it doesn't mean that I get to every single thing on my list, but the majority of things, the most important things on my list get done. Okay. And so I want to give this gift to everyone. So for those of us who feel like we don't have enough time for healthy eating, for exercising, and everything else, I think you can if you time block and if you edit down a little bit what it is that you can do and figure out what you can delegate or get support with. Okay, like I had to. I'm a chronic overdoer. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is this. So I actually, I, I'm obsessed with planners. I have a real issue. You should talk to my husband about it. But I actually made a planner. This is a planner from Agendio, and Agendio is a great place because you can make your own planner for anybody else who cares that deeply. It's wonderful. And I made a planner, but you don't have to do all this. Okay, I'm just showing you on my planner page how I do this. So the 2 to 3 hour chunks that I have going on. Let me see if I can actually make sure. Okay, so I want to make sure that this is showing up on Facebook video and on Instagram. Okay, so and I see it's backwards on Instagram. Sorry about that, guys. But what you can see here is this is tomorrow. And what, with Jordan Page, and I think most people I've heard this from, they advise you to think about your day the day before. So tonight, ideally, in a perfect world, I will go through and fill out this page with, with kind of what it is that I need to do. So what I have going on here is I have, kind of a to-do list, with the things that I need to get done that today. But the most important thing is really the blocks. Okay, so this is block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4, block 5, and block 6, okay? And in block 1, this is for me from 5 a.m. until about 7:15. Okay, 7:15, it depends on the day, but 7:15 or 7:30, okay? And this is a 2.5 hour block that I use for self-care and to get some work done before my kids wake up and before I have to be useful to everyone in the house, right? Before I have to do anything else. So what I usually do from 5 a.m. until 7:15 is I do work for my business. And I also do, so some of you guys have seen me recording my workout videos and it's really dark outside. That's why, because I'm recording the videos at like an ungodly hour. But 5 to 7:15, that is, self-care time. I just kind of take it easy getting into the day. And then I do work for my business and for teaching. Okay. And then, so I'm usually doing some sort of lesson planning and preparing for the day. And then the second block 2, okay, is where I do, that's from about 7:15 until about, it depends on the day because so we get help with our kids 3 days a week through the grandparents, thank goodness. And so the days where I take them, it's 7:15, and the days where they stay with me, it's about 7:45. But so anywhere between 7:15 to about 8 or 8:15 is the kid getting ready block. And I help my kids get ready in the morning, and I start them out. They get dressed. I turn on a really nice timer so they can start out the morning feeling really energized and positive. We do affirmations together. I drive them to where they need to go, or I get them ready for class. We just have a really nice way to enter the day. I want them to have that self-care and that calm feel to the mornings because for years I didn't. And for years, I would start my mornings feeling incredibly stressed. And I just stopped feeling stressed out in my mornings a few weeks ago. So this is a gift that I give to myself by waking up a little bit earlier. I know some people don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. I get that. If you don't have as much on your to-do list as me, that's okay. You don't have to wake up at 5. It's whatever's going to work for you, okay? It just works for me. And I also truth be told, I like the quiet before everyone else wakes up and for the hustle and bustle. I feel really good. So then, I get the kids ready and I get them started. And depending if they're with me, then from about the time that they wake up till about noon, it's just schoolwork. So if they're with me, then I'm teaching classes and I've organized my distance learning schedule so that I can teach classes and also help my kids with their classes because I have a 3 and a 5-year-old. They need a lot of help. And so we do a combination of that. It's just everybody's in class. It's school block from like 8 or 8:30 until about noon. And then at noon, my husband takes over with the kids and I go, take a little lunch break for myself. Okay, give myself about an hour for lunch. And then at 1 o'clock till about 3 o'clock is another 2 hour block of work. Okay. So I focus on the things that are most important to get done during that 2 hour block. And what I do at around 3 or 3:15, usually about 3:15. So it's really anywhere from 1 to 3 or 3:20, depending on how much time I need to give myself. More work. So I've given myself, throughout that day about 4 hours of work in the day, which is wonderful when you're in this environment. And then I have 3:15, I'm kind of done. I'm really exhausted. I go for a walk. So 3:15 is my like going for a walk and then coming back, and I take over with the kids, okay, at around 4, a little after 4. And I help and the 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock block is just like the kids, okay? So it is, where I have kid time. Sometimes if it's a night where I have clients, and then my husband and I, we figure that out. But I have the kids and I do homework with them. And then the thing that I do around 6 o'clock is between 6 and 8. It's dinner. And also, too, I do some like cleaning. I do some other household chores like budgeting, tracking our expenses, because I really like to track our expenses. I'm very anal about this now. This is a self-care thing for me to keep track of my own spending. All right. So more about that on another time. And then, after I've done some homework, and then, after, by this time we're all a little tired. So it's either like playtime after that home block is done, where I've cleaned up something and tracked our spending and done something else, a little bit of a rest. And then I kind of hang out with the kids again while my husband gets another little break. Or, if I'm just too tired, we watch a movie. It's a movie night, what have you. And then and then the evening block is about, bedtime and hanging out together quietly, reading together, and the kids go to bed, and my husband and I have a little quality time together, ideally, right? Sometimes the evenings are a little unpredictable in that way. We're still working on it. But this block period, you see, I get a good amount of time to get work done. I get the most important things done in that day. I forgot to say this. Oh, I forgot to say in the mornings at 5 a.m. So I do self-care and exercise and work. Okay, so those three things are happening in my early morning block. And then, throughout the day, and then I meal plan for myself on like the weekends. So I kind of have a sense of what I'm going to eat throughout the day. So really, this is mine after a lot of trial and error. And what I would recommend to you is that if this is something you want to try, it's glorious. It's glorious, glorious, glorious. It might take you a little, trial and error to figure out what works best for you and for your family and your needs, because we're all different, right? Like, it took me a while to get to this for me, but I can't tell you how much of a lifesaver it's been for me. Okay. So if you want to know more about this, or more about how I can support you with coaching, this is a dream. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that you try it out at least for a couple of days and see how you feel. I found that it made me feel so much better as a human being. Like, I have way less guilt about forgetting something or feeling like I didn't give enough to this area of my life or that area of my life. And the things that don't fit within those blocks maybe need to be delegated. So if you find that you are really trying your hardest and you're working your hardest, and and there's still a lot falling off your plate, figure out what needs to be delegated, and outsourced. And, in my case, for me, I'm passionate about community organizing, but I realized in this season of my life, with 2 kids distance learning and teaching and having a business and a family, it's too much. So I have to donate. I have to, we had some people come and help clean our house the other day. Thank God. It helps you figure out, realistically what you can accomplish in a day and what you need to get help for. So I love it. I'm a huge fan, and I would love to support you with this if you want to know more about it. All right. So with that said, check out, if you're on Facebook, you can check out that video in the description for more. And I think I was able to share my screen. So if you want to actually go into that, go check that out. Or you can set up a free call with me, and I'd love, love, love to support you. Okay. We can figure out together what it is that your big goals are for yourself. And I have so many different ways of supporting, from, healthy eating programs on down. I can help you create your block schedule yourself. We can figure that out. I help my clients with this all the time. So definitely let me know how I can support you all. Okay. All right. With that said, everyone, have a wonderful Sunday. You deserve it. And I'm going to go. It's getting to the homework block for my daughter. We're going to go do a little homework before Monday. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye, Instagram. See ya. Okay, bye, Facebook. Love you guys.